Mm-hmm. Hey, yeah. They wanna judge me, but I stay quiet. I would confront them, but they'll deny it. They said things about me that wasn't even true. Lord knows if I wasn't saved, oh, the things I would do. Just know that I'm not who I was before. That life I used to live, I don't live no more. God knows no more. God knows no more. No more. Just know that I'm not who I was before. That life I used to live, I don't live no more. God knows no more. No more. God knows no more. Sometimes I just wanna pick up the phone, but he who don't sin, may he cast the first stone. They talk good about me when I come around, but when I'm not, all they do is put me down. Just know that I'm not who I was before. The life I used to live, I don't live no more. God knows no more. No more. God knows no more. Just know that I'm not who I was before. The life I used to live, I don't live no more. God knows no more. God knows no more. I try to be nice just as much as I can, but when you don't agree, then how can you understand? We're supposed to love our neighbors as we love ourselves, but it's hard, my God, when you feel different than everyone else. Who I was before, the life I used to live, I don't live no more. God knows no more, no more. God knows no more. Just know that I'm who I was before. The life I used to live, I don't live no more. God knows no more, no more. God knows no more. But can't you see? Just know that I'm not who I was before. The life I used to live, I don't live no more. God knows no more. God knows no more.
We believe we are the people of God's choice. That's what we believe. We believe we're the chosen people. We don't believe Jews are the chosen people. We don't believe Jews are the ones going to the promised land. We don't think Jews are a part of God. No, Jews are nothing but another part of that same race of devils that come out of Europe. Black people are standing up. Black people are rising up. And they're starting right.
We were slaves in Egypt. We belong to the Father, ain't no pledge of allegiance. We both to celebrate that killing that he didn't need to. We both to keep the holy days, don't be like the heathen. He said that for a reason. We in Babylon, coming back without a warning like an avalanche. You think you gon' keep hurting people, he ain't having all. All praise to y'all, you amazing y'all. That's why I'm thanking y'all. So I got this fire in my bones like Jeremiah. Most I keep waking up your people, you the lighter. We keep the laws and the commandments you provide us, and we gon' rise up. Keep curses on the people we ain't know. Deuteronomy 28 and 54. Can't forget your brother, you gon' let it blow. He don't wanna raise a child, you ready to roll. Why you think you in them trench? Why you think you in them bearders? Why you think you seen them dealers? Why you think you seen them careless? Why you trying to stay alive? Why you keep that on the side? Why you think they about to ride? Why you think he about to die? Why nobody answer why? We too busy looking fly. Turn that television off. Watch what you put in your eye. Let the Bible come alive. Y'all gon' raise your sons and daughters up and they gon' prophesy. Need to let go of them lies. Need to let go of your pride.
We shouldn't have any relationship with the law, not even the Ten Commandments. We should not have any relationship with the law, which is over 600 of them. Because Jesus died to free me.
Do what I'm saying,
from the
though.
Big Ten.
Get rid of this image. Get rid of it
They
altogether.
tell you not to keep them laws, cause they don't want you to be yourself. Man, them laws were given to us, they ain't for nobody else. But on this garment, you a king. Border blue around the ring, put fringes on everything. You ain't no nigga, you a king. They kept us lost for many years. We don't cry many tears, waking up about it is. And they know about who he is, and they know about what they did. How you say you love the Father when you killing all his kids? Y'all gon' pay by what y'all did. They knew that one day we'll rise. Nigga, this ain't no surprise. I'm a Shiite coming back, cause you gon' live or you gon' die. Repent before he crack the sky. All this pain that we going through. Isaiah 14:1 is what he gon' do. He made a promise to our fathers that he going to. We keep these laws and these commandments that we can't lose. We waking up about to sleep, just know we can't snooze. We waking up the lost sheep, this ain't no fake news. Be glad for me, cause I could be the light up in the room. Don't be mad at me, cause I can mix it up and make it boom. Should be glad for me, cause I could be the light up in the room. Don't be mad at me, cause I can mix it up and make it boom. They know America's doomed. Man, somebody get the broom. Babylon right in the tomb. They got plenty room for coon. Waking up right out to sleep. Nigga, this is prophecy. Coming back to who we are. I don't see how you don't see.
You're Lazarus. You're the dry bone. You're the prodigal son. You're the lost sheep. You're the people about whom the Bible is speaking, who will stand up in the last days when the trumpet is sounded.
I shall keep it until the end. Give me understanding, and I shall keep your law. Yea, I shall observe it with my whole heart. Hallelujah.
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 Praise the mighty God.
Hallelujah. Kalaya.
Ya Baraka, Ya Baraka, Yahweh, Yahweh, Waya Shamaka, Waya Shamaka, Yahweh, Yahweh, Ya Yahweh, Ya Yahweh, Hanyawa Al Yaka, Hanyawa Al Yaka, Waya Khanka, Waya Khanka, Yahweh, Yahweh, Yasha Yahweh, Yasha Yahweh, Hanyawa Al Yaka, Hanyawa Al Yaka, Waya Sham, Laka Shalom, Laka Shalom, Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shah, Yahweh Shah, Barak Rapah, Barak Rapah, Yahweh, Yahweh, Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shah, Yahweh Shah, Barak Rapah, Barak Rapah, Yasha Allah, Yasha Allah. Abanawa, Shabashamayim, Kwadash, Hayah, Shamka, Yahweh, Malakwatha, Thaba'ah, Ratazaka, Hayah, Aisha, Ba'aratazar, Kawa, Hayah, Bashamayim, Lathananawa, Lacham, Kal, Yawam, Wasalachnawa, Chaubwathnawa, Kasalachnawa, Chaubwathyanawa, Wala'a, Tabia Anawa, Manasaya 1, Abal, Hawashayanawa, Mayan, Rai, Kaya, Laka, Hamalakwa, Wa'ala, Wa'athapa Arath, La'ai Walamyam, Aman.
Shalom, shalom, Israel. Back on another Thursday. Y'all by Shem Yavashak Rakatham, Washimaratham. Hopefully y'all week is going good. Today we're going to get into answer the call. Answer the call. You know, we'll go over a couple scriptures, and then we'll go over, like, you know, how a lot of brothers become called, or how they're called, and, you know, how they went about it. You know what I mean? But one thing that we got to do is we have to answer the call. You know, so like I said, hopefully y'all week is going good. Hopefully this class isn't too long. It shouldn't be too long. I know I was talking to my good brother, Micah Ali, up there in Detroit. And I told him, y'all know that I did Are You in the Spirit? Part 1 and part 2. You know, God. Part 1 and part 2, Are You in the Spirit? What was it? Part 2 was backsliding, right? So I was telling my brother Micah Allah out there in Detroit that I'm probably going to do a part 3 for y'all next week, Lord's will, and it'll be on a broken spirit. So Are You in the Spirit? And it'll be on a broken spirit. So, so for now, you know, because I'm still putting that together, but for now we'll do Answer the Call. So let's go ahead and get off into it, right? Make sure y'all can see the screen. Okay, y'all should be good. All right, we're going to start off in 2 Timothy chapter 1. Salakia, I know it's Wednesday technically, but you know, Elder Karai be like, nah, man, nighttime starts the new day. So, you know, you know, Elder Karai be on it. All right. 2 Timothy chapter 1, verse 9 says, who hath saved us and called us with a holy calling, not according to our works, but according to his own purpose and grace, which was given us in Yahushua HaMashiach before the world began. So the calling is already established. You see what I'm saying? We have to understand that these things are already established. We're playing this out. You know what I mean? We're playing this out. The 144 is already established. You know what I mean? They're just not sealed. The 24 elders are already established. The 12 that was with Yahushua is already established, so on and so forth. You see what I'm saying? This is already established. The calling is already established. It just has to be sealed. You know what I mean? This is something that we got to understand. A lot of us in the truth were called, but it's going to go further than that, and I'll show y'all. Okay? Now let's go to Romans. Romans chapter 8 and verse 28. Romans chapter 8, verse 28 says, and we know that all things work together for good to them that love Yahweh, to them who are called according to his purpose. See, so when people be like, oh yeah, I found Jesus. No, you didn't. You were already chosen. You see what I'm saying? You were already chosen. Remember, we can't come to Yahushua unless the Most High sends us to him, right? Verse 29, for whom he did foreknow, he also did predestinate to be conformed to the image of his Son, that he might be the firstborn among many brethren. Moreover, whom he did predestinate, them he also called, and whom he called, them he also justified, and whom he justified, them he also glorified. Right? So we see that this calling is already established. You see what I'm saying? It's already established. And we're going to see that throughout this because certain people, you know what I mean? Certain people are picked. Certain people are chosen, right? Certain people are called to do the work of the Most High. One thing that we got to understand is this ain't your it's not really like fully your choice. You know what I'm saying? If you're called, it's no running from it. You know what I mean? Most High already has it established, right? Let's see that. Let's go to the book of Jonah. Book of Jonah, chapter 1 and verse 2 says, Arise. Matter of fact, we'll start at 1. Now the word of the Lord came unto Jonah, the son of Amittai, saying, Arise, go to Nineveh, that great city, and cry against it, for their wickedness has come up before me. Then Jonah rose up to flee unto Tarshish from the presence of the Lord, and went down to Joppa, and he found a ship going to Tarshish. So he paid the fare thereof, and went down into it to go with them unto Tarshish from the presence of the Lord. You see what I'm saying? So right here we see Jonah's trying to run from the calling of the Most High, right? He's trying to run from the calling of the Most High. But, yeah, we'll see how that goes. Let's drop down to verse 4. But the Lord sent out a great wind into the sea, and there was a mighty tempest in the sea, so that the ship was like to be broken. Then the mariners were afraid, and cried every man unto his God, and cast forth the wares that were in the ship into the sea, to lighten it of them. But Jonah was gone down into the sides of the ship, and he lay and was fast asleep. So the shipmaster came to him and said unto him, What meanest thou, O sleeper? Arise, call upon thy God, if so be that God will think upon us, that we perish not. And they said, Every one to his fellow, come and let us cast lots, that we may know for whose cause this evil is upon us. So they cast lots, and the lot fell upon Jonah. Then said they unto him, Tell us, we pray thee, for whose cause is evil, this evil is upon us. What is thine occupation? And whence comest thou? What is thy country? And what people art thou? And he said unto them, I am an Hebrew, and I fear the Lord, the God of heaven, which hath made the sea and the dry land. Then were the men exceedingly afraid, and said unto him, Why hast thou done this? For the men knew that he fled from the presence of the Lord, because he had told them. Right? So when the Most High calls you, there's no running. You know what I mean? There's no running. There is no, I don't want to do the work of the Most High. The Most High is going to put you in a position, in a spot, in a situation to where you're going to do the work of the Most High. You see what I'm saying? So this is one calling right here that we see. You can't get away from the Most High's work, from the Most High's will. You see what I'm saying? There's no running from that. So Jonah tried to run. Let's get another example. Jeremiah chapter 1 and verse 4. The word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee. And before thou camest forth out of the womb, I sanctified thee, and I ordained thee a prophet unto the nations. Then said I, Lord God, behold, I cannot speak, for I am a child. But the Lord said unto me, Say not, I am a child, for thou shalt go, for thou shalt go to all that I shall send thee, and whatsoever I command thee, thou shalt speak. Right? So Jeremiah is young, insecure. He like, how can I do this? How can I lead this people? How can I prophesy? You know what I mean? He's concerned, right? But the Most High is like, don't worry about that. I'll put the words in your mouth. You know what I mean? This is one thing that we have to understand. It's funny, is having that understanding that the Most High will put the words in your mouth. I remember me and, like I said, my good brother Michael Holler out there in Detroit was talking about this. Like, after we do a class, we really don't go back and watch our classes, and we remember the class that we did. Like, we remember the class, but we don't remember everything that was broken down. And you know what I'm saying? Because it's not us. You know what I mean? Like I say all the time, it's not me. It's not like I'm not that knowledgeable. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the Most High giving that to me. You see what I'm saying? That's the thing. That's how I view it. You know, that's how I view it. So we'll get another one. Exodus chapter 3. Whoops. Exodus chapter 3 and verse 1 says, Now Moses kept the flock of Jethro, his father-in-law, the priest of Midian, and he led the flock to the backside of the desert and came to the mountain of God, even to Horeb. And the angel of the Lord appeared unto him in a flame of fire out of the midst of a bush. And he looked, and behold, the bush burned with fire, and the bush was not consumed. And Moses said, I will now turn aside and see this great sight, why the bush is not burnt. And when the Lord saw that he turned aside to see, God called unto him out of the midst of the bush and said, Moses, Moses. And he said, Here I am. Here am I. Right? So Moses answered this call. All right. Moses answered this call. And he said, Draw not nigh hither, put off thy shoes from off thy feet, for the place whereon thou standest is holy ground. Moreover, he said, I am the God of thy father, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. And Moses hid his face, and he was afraid to look upon God. Right? So Moses answered this call. Said, Here am I. Right? He answered this call. But now, like I said, even when you answer the call, there are things to do after you answer the call. Right? So let's go to chapter 4. Chapter 4 and verse 10. Exodus 4 and verse 10 says, And Moses said unto the Lord, O my Lord, I am not eloquent, neither heretofore, nor since thou hast spoken unto thy servant, but I am slow of speech and of a slow tongue. Right? Why? Moses was raised in Egypt. You see what I'm saying? Moses was raised in Egypt. You know what I mean? So he's not down there mingling with the Hebrews like he could have been. You know what I mean? So Moses had a slow tongue when it comes to the Hebrew. You know, so now he has doubt. Now he has fear of speaking with his people. Right? Verse 11. And the Lord said unto him, Who hath made man's mouth? Or who maketh the dumb, or deaf, or the seeing, or the blind? Have not I the Lord? Now, therefore go, and I will be with thy mouth, and teach thee what thou shalt say. And he said, O my Lord, send, I pray thee, by the hand of him whom thou wilt send. Right? So who does the Most High give Moses? He gives him Aaron. You see what I'm saying? To help him. Aaron been with the people. So he gives him to Moses so he can help him, right? Now this is something that we got to pay attention to, because like I said, Moses answered the call when he was called by the Most High. But now he has a job to do after answering the call. You see, like I said, a lot of us in the truth, we answered the call, but are we doing what the Most High called us for? That's what we have to look at now. You see what I'm saying? Because he didn't call us for no reason. There's a purpose behind this calling. You know what I mean? Remember, he's calling us according to his will. So he's not calling you according to his will just for you to sit idle because now you know you're an Israelite. You see? So there's things you got to do. Now let's use one more. Let's use another one. 1 Samuel chapter 3. I like this a lot because it shows a lot, right? I'll start at verse 3. 1 Samuel chapter 3, verse 3 says, And ere the lamp of God went out in the temple of the Lord, where the ark of God was, and Samuel was laid down to sleep. Samuel was laid down to sleep, right? Remember, how does the Most High speak to you? In visions and dreams. You see? In visions and dreams. Okay, so Samuel is now laid down to sleep, right? Verse 4, that the Lord called Samuel, and he answered, Here am I. And he ran unto Eli and said, Here am I, for thou callest me. And he said, I called not. Lie down again. And he went and lay down, right? So there's a reason Samuel's going to Eli when he hears this voice, okay? Verse 6, and the Lord called yet again, Samuel. And Samuel arose and went to Eli and said, Here am I, for thou didst call me. And he answered, I called not, my son, lie down again. Now Samuel did not yet know the Lord, neither was the word of the Lord yet revealed unto him. That is why I like this a lot, because a lot of us not being in the truth, not knowing the Most High, were still called by the Most High. And a lot of us, all of us in this class right now, we obviously answered that call. You see what I'm saying? So the Most High does not have to call you while you already in the truth. Can he call you in the truth? Yes, because he might have another job for you. He might have another duty for you, another purpose. You see what I'm saying? Or your task is not complete. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of men that was called by the Most High weren't even following the Most High. Like I said, Samuel belonged to the priest. Yes, that was due to a promise that his mother made to the Most High. You see what I'm saying? But like we just seen, Samuel did not yet know the Lord, neither was the word of the Lord yet revealed unto him. See that? And the Lord called Samuel again the third time. I like this, right? Because he called Samuel 3 times. Samuel tried to answer. He was confused, didn't know who was calling him, right? But he called him 3 times. I'm going to give like a wild example, right? A wild analogy. If your cell phone is in your pocket, and this might not be in the case of Samuel, but I'll give you another example. You know what I'm saying? If your cell phone is in your pocket and someone is calling, but you're in the midst of just doing whatever, you know what I'm saying? Hanging out, not paying attention, so on and so forth. You see what I'm saying? And a person calls you 3 times. And then you hear the phone and then you answer. This is like the same thing. You know what I mean? The Most High could be calling you, but you could be in the midst of something to where you cannot hear or to where you cannot understand. You know what I'm saying? Or to where you ignore. You know what I mean? So eventually, because he called Samuel 3 times, he need to answer that call. You see what I'm saying? So, and the Lord called Samuel again the 3rd time, and he arose and went to Eli and said, Here am I, for thou didst call me. And Eli perceived that the Lord had called the child. Therefore, Eli said unto Samuel, Go, lie down, and it shall be, if he call thee, that thou shalt say, Speak, Lord, for thy servant heareth. So Samuel went and lied down in his place. And the Lord came and stood and called at Salaki, and called as at other times, Samuel, Samuel. Then Samuel answered, Speak, for thy servant heareth. And the Lord said to Samuel, Behold, I will do a thing in Israel at which both the ears of everyone that heareth it shall tingle. Right? So once Samuel actually answered that call, now we got a job to do. Hey, I got both, Debak. I got both. But yeah. See, so Samuel had a job. He's going to have a job to do once he answered that call. But it took a few times for him to answer that call. You see, and this is the same thing with us today. This is why it's said that there's a time and a season for everything, right? We could have been getting called a long time ago. We just didn't know it. Being in the midst of chaos, being in the midst of a lot of noise, so on and so forth, right? Being in the midst of all that, right? Or we'll get to that as well. You know, because we have to come to some sort of clarity sometimes in order for us to hear this call, right? Now I want to go, where else did I want to go? My notes is all over the place. Okay, I'll show you other men that answered the call, right? Let's go to Genesis. Genesis chapter 12. Genesis chapter 12, verse 1 says, Now the Lord had said unto Abram, Get thee out of thy country, and from thy kindred, and from thy father's house, unto a land that I will shew thee. And I will make of thee a great nation, and I will bless thee, and make thy name great, and thou shalt be a blessing. Right? So Abraham is answering this call. Salaki. Abraham was answering this call, right? Abraham ain't even really asked no questions. You know what I mean? He heard this from the Most High, and he was like, okay, let's do it. Right? So Abraham is answering this call. Verse 3. And I will bless them that bless thee, and curse him that curseth thee. And in thee shall all the families of the earth be blessed. So Abram departed. Right? Abram departed, as the Lord has spoken unto him, and Lot went with them. And Abram was 75 years old when he departed out of Haran. And Abram took Sarai his wife, and Lot his brother's son, and all their substances, that they had gathered, and the souls that they had gotten in Haran. And they went forth to go into the land of Canaan, and into the land of Canaan they came. Right? So like I said, Abraham didn't really ask no questions. You had Jonah who ran. You know what I'm saying? You have Jonah who ran. You had Jeremiah who was nervous. He was young. He was unsure. You know what I mean? You had Samuel who had never known the Lord. You know what I mean? And all of these men is answering this call, and they have dilemmas. You know what I mean? Some of them have dilemmas. You know what I mean? A lot of us had dilemmas probably. You know what I mean? Especially some people who came from like the church and stuff like that. You know, they was probably iffy when they heard something different. You know, but the call is there. The Most High can be calling you through someone else. The 12, the Most High called through Yahushua, right? So the Most High can call you through someone else. It's just whether you're here to answer that call or not. You know what I mean? It's whether you're here to answer that call or not. Like I said, after that, right, you have a job to do. And I'm going to show you. Isaiah chapter 6. This book of Isaiah chapter 6 and verse 8. Also, I heard the voice of the Lord say, matter of fact, let me start up. Verse 5 says, Then said I, woe is me, for I am undone, because I am a man of unclean lips, and I dwell in the midst of a people of unclean lips. For mine eyes have seen the King, the Lord of hosts. Then flew one of the seraphims unto me, having a live coal in his hand, which he had taken with the tongs from off the altar. And he laid it upon my mouth, and said, Lo, this hath touched thy lips, and thine iniquity is taken away, and thy sin purged. Also, I heard the voice of the Lord saying, Whom shall I send, and who will go for us? Then said I, Here am I, send me. Right? So Isaiah is answering this call, right? Answering this call. Lord is asking, who's going to do it? He answered that call, said, Here I am, I'll do it. Right? Verse 9. And he said, Go and tell this people, hear ye indeed, but understand not. And see ye indeed, but perceive not. Right? And perceive not. See, so verse 10, make the heart of this people fat and make their ears heavy and shut their eyes, lest they see with their eyes and hear with their ears and understand with their heart and convert and be healed. Right? So now what is Isaiah's job? He has to go and talk to the people. He has to go and prophesy against the people. You know what I mean? He got to go and prophesy against the people. Right? Because he answered the Most High's call. So like I said, when you answer the call, it's not over with. When you answer a call on your phone right now, you see what I'm saying? You're not just saying hello. It's a conversation. You know what I mean? It's a conversation. And you have to be in tune with this conversation. You see? So the same thing here when it comes to the Most High. He can call you and you can answer, but now you got to have a conversation, you see? And the conversation is going to be the Most High's will, and now you have a job. So you can't sit idle after answering that call, right? Let's get another one. Acts chapter 9. Book of Acts chapter 9 and verse 3. It says, as he journeyed, he came near Damascus, and suddenly there shined round about him a light from heaven. And he fell to the earth and heard a voice saying unto him, Saul, Saul, why persecutest thou me? And he said, Who art thou, Lord? And the Lord said, I am Yahushua, whom thou persecutest. It is hard for thee to kick against the pricks. And he, trembling and astonished, said, Lord, what wilt thou have me to do? And the Lord said unto him, Arise and go into the city, and it shall be told thee what thou must do. Right? So now, even though Paul was a Pharisee of Pharisees, knew the law, so on and so forth, right? And he's persecuting the church, Yahushua still called him from that. And remember, Paul now is blind. He's told to go to a particular place, and then he'll get instructions on what to do. Like I said, his job ain't over. You see? Verse 7. And the men which journeyed with him stood speechless, hearing the voice, but seeing no man. And Saul arose from the earth, and when his eyes were opened, he saw no man. But they led him by the hand and brought him into Damascus. And he was 3 days without sight, and neither did he eat nor drink. And there was a certain disciple at Damascus named Ananias. And to him said the Lord in a vision, Ananias. And he said, Behold, I am here. I am here, Lord. And the Lord said unto him, Arise and go into the street which is called Straight, and inquire in the house of Judas for one called Saul of Tarsus, for behold, he prayeth. Right? So Ananias is called in this same situation. He answers, and now he has a job to do, right? Having to deal with Paul. You know what I mean? Remember, the Most High's will got to be done. See, Paul is a good candidate in this New Testament era, right? Because Paul was a Pharisee of Pharisees. Paul is about to be retaught. Paul speaks Hebrew, and Paul speaks Greek because he's born in the diaspora. See what I'm saying? So Paul is a good tool to use to reach all the people, right? So this is his job. Verse 12. And hath seen in a vision a man named Ananias coming in, and put his hand on him that he might receive his sight. Then Ananias answered, Lord, I have heard by many of this man how much evil he hath done to thy saints at Jerusalem. Right? This is another precept for y'all, for anybody that wants another precept for saints being Israelites, right? Because who was Paul persecuting? The church, right? Which was Israelites. So this is another precept for y'all to have that show who the saints are. Verse 14. And here he hath authority from the chief priest to bind all that call on thy name. But the Lord said unto him, Go thy way, for he is a chosen vessel unto me, to bear my name before the Gentiles and kings and the children of Israel. For I will show him how great things he must suffer for my name's sake. Right? So all of us in Israel, of course, we're going to suffer behind the Most High. We're going to suffer behind Yahushua. He did. You know what I mean? He suffered. So we're going to have to suffer too. We go through a lot of things, you know, after being called to the Most High. We go through a lot of things. People think it's just it's going to be easy once you follow the Most High. No, it's not. No, not at all. It's going to be tighter. It's going to be, you know what I mean? It's going to be harder. People are going to hate you, you know, because you're telling the truth. But this is what you was called for, right? That's what you was called for. Now, let's go here to Judges chapter 6. Judges chapter 6 and verse 12. All right. Judges chapter 6 and verse 12 says, And the angel of the Lord appeared unto him and said unto him, The Lord is with thee, thou mighty man of valor. And Gideon said unto him, O my Lord, if the Lord be with us, why then is all this befallen us? Right? We got a lot of people that think that way, right? A lot of Israel that think that way. You know, they might not be in the truth, but a lot of Israel thinks that way, right? Like, oh, if God was real, oh, if there's really a God, you know what I'm saying, then why is he letting babies die? Why is he letting our people die? Why is he letting, you see what I'm saying? There's a questionable things in a lot of our people's eyes and a lot of our people's minds, not understanding that the Most High is casting judgment or something like that. You know what I mean? So a lot of people question it. So this is the same thing Gideon is doing. Like, if you with us, you know what I mean? Why is this happening? Right? And where be all his miracles, which our fathers told us of, saying, Did not the Lord bring us up from Egypt? But now the Lord hath forsaken us and delivered us into the hands of the Midianites. So see, these types of things bring forth doubt. You see? So these types of things bring forth doubt. So Gideon is now being called, and he has some sort of doubt. He has some sort of wavery, because he's like, why are you letting this happen to us? You know what I mean? You're supposed to be the Most High who saved us, and you showed us all these miracles and stuff like that. Like, what's going on now? Like, why is this happening? You see? So like I said earlier, you got Jonah who ran, you got Samuel who didn't know, you got who else did I say? Jeremiah, who felt young and unworthy. You know what I mean? You have Moses, who felt like he couldn't do the job as well. You know what I mean? And now you have Gideon, who's kind of questioning things just because the way things are going. You know, and a lot of us start to fall in these ruts and question things when things get bad. And the thing is, we get to questioning the Most High of why these things is bad, you know, and that's something that we got to put off to the side, right? Understand that you were called for a reason, but we'll keep going. Verse 14. And the Lord looked upon him and said, Go in this thy might, and thou shalt save Israel from the hand of the Midians. Have not I sent thee? And he said unto him, O my Lord, wherewith shall I save Israel? Behold, my family is poor in Manasseh, and I am the least in my father's house. You see the doubt? You know what I mean? Like we get called by the Most High, and then we get to doubting them. Or we get to doubting ourselves, not understanding that we're really doubting the Most High. It's because it could be a lack of faith, and it could be, you know, we're not, well, I'll just leave it at a lack of faith, because like I said, right now Gideon's questioning why the Most High has even allowed these things to happen to them, you know. And like he said, he's the least in his father's house, and they poor and all that. The Most High will pull you out, the Most High will call you out of the gutter. You know what I'm saying? He'll call you out of the gutter. It doesn't matter who you are. Like I said, we just seen Samuel didn't even know the Lord like that, and he still called him. You know what I mean? So the Most High will call you out of the gutter. Doesn't matter. You can have fears and everything, doubt, all that. But remember, the Most High is the one that's going to do the fighting for you. Your presence is required to do the job so that the people see you, right? The people hear you. You're speaking what the Most High wants you to speak. You're doing that job. You see, but the words that you're speaking, he's the one giving them to you. So it's not you. You're not trying to convince anyone. The Most High is going to give it to you for you to speak to the people. And even if you're talking to a crowd of 40, 50 people, the Most High might have only sent you over there for one person. You see, everyone's not called. That's why I said when people be like, oh, I found Jesus and I'm saved. No, you didn't, and no, you're not. You see? So let's keep going. Verse 16. Salaki. Verse 16. And the Lord said unto him, Surely I will be with thee, and thou shalt smite the Midianites as one man. And he said unto him, Now if I have found grace in thy sight, then shew me a sign that thou talkst with me. Right? This is our people. This is our people in a nutshell, right? We want everything proven. You know what I mean? We want everything proven. You know, so Gideon wants a sign from the Most High that he's really dealing with the Most High. Right? Gideon wants a sign. You know, he wants to be sure. He doesn't want to have doubt. He doesn't want to have fear. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. He don't want that. You know, so he's asking for this reassurance from the Most High. In which case, the Most High don't have to reassure you nothing. Not for real. You know what I mean? But since we that are called are predestinated and preordained, this is why he's going to show Gideon, right? He's going to show him. Let's drop down to verse 36. Verse 36 says, And Gideon said unto Yahweh, If thou wilt save Israel by my hand, as thou hast said, behold, I will put a fleece of wool in the floor, and if the dew be on the fleece only, and it be dry upon all the earth beside, then shall I know that thou wilt save Israel by my hand, as thou hast said. And it was so. For he rose up early in the morrow, and thrust the fleece together, and wringed the dew out of the fleece, a bowl full of water. And Gideon said unto Yahweh, Let not thine anger be hot against me, and I will speak but this once. Let me prove, I pray thee, but this once with the fleece, let it now be dry only upon the fleece, and upon all the ground let there be dew. And Yahweh did so that night, for it was dry upon the fleece only, and there was dew on all the ground. Right? So, like I said, the Most High didn't have to do that. He didn't have to do that. But he did it because he was calling Gideon to begin with. And he did it because he was going to use Gideon to defeat the Midianites anyway. You see what I'm saying? So even with the calling, even with Gideon asking for these signs, the Most High did it. And now Gideon has a job to do. Right? Let's go to chapter 7 and verse 2. Judges chapter 7, verse 2 says, And the Lord said unto Gideon, The people that are with thee are too many for me to give the Midianites into their hands, lest Israel vaunt themselves against me, saying, Mine own hand hath saved me. Right? So Most High is like, you don't need all these people. Otherwise, you're going to rely on yourself. You see what I'm saying? You're going to rely on yourself. You're going to think you're the one that did it. You think you're the one that fought this fight. Nah. So verse 3. Now therefore go to proclaim in the ears of the people, saying, Whosoever is fearful and afraid, let him return and depart early from Mount Gilead. And there returned of the people 22,000, and there remained 10,000. So Gideon started off with 32,000 people, right? And the Lord said unto Gideon, The people are yet too many. Bring them down unto the water, and I will try them for thee there. And it shall be that of whom I say unto thee, this shall go with thee, the same shall go with thee. And of whomsoever I say unto thee, this shall not go with thee, the same shall not go. Right? So it's not even Gideon that's proving these people. It's the Most High. The Most High is going to prove the people for him, so that way he can take who the Most High wants him to take, not who he wants him to take. It's the same thing when if we be street teaching, if we talking to people, if we're teaching anybody, right? It's not up to us for everyone to come along. It's not up to us for everyone to join the camp. It's up to the Most High, right? Because why? Quality over quantity. You see what I'm saying? It's the Most High's battle anyway. So he's going to pick the quality, not the quantity. Right? Verse 4. And the Lord, Verse 5. So he brought down the people unto the water, and the Lord said unto Gideon, Everyone that lappeth of the water with his tongue, as a dog lappeth, him shalt thou set by himself. Likewise, everyone that boweth down upon his knees to drink, and the number of them that lapped, putting their hand to their mouth, were 300 men. But all the rest of the people bowed down upon their knees to drink water. And the Lord said unto Gideon, By the 300 men that lapped will I save you, and deliver the Midianites into thine hand. And let all the other people go, every man unto his place. See that? So like I said, answer the call, and you still have a job to do. You still got to do the Most High's work, right? You still have to do the Most High's work. One thing that makes it complicated, like I said, is sometimes we don't hear the call because the things that we're in the midst of. You see? Now, the Most High can pull you out the midst of it, but you can also make it a little easier for yourself to hear that call and to answer that call. You don't want to, like if you answer the phone today, right, and there's a whole bunch of people in the background and stuff like that, and you can't hardly hear, what are you going to do? You're going to get away from all the noise so you can hear what's on the phone. You see what I'm saying? So it's the same concept. I ain't going to say it's the same exact thing, but it's the same concept. You know what I mean? You want to get away from the noise, right? Want to get away from the noise. Let me see something real fast. Do I want this? Come. So this is how you do this, right? We'll go to that afterwards. We'll go to 1 Peter chapter 3. 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 10. 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 10 says, "For he that will love life and see good days, let him refrain his tongue from evil, and his lips that speak no guile. Let him eschew evil and do good. Let him seek peace and ensue it." Right? So the first thing, right, you want to eschew evil. Let's see what eschew is. Eschew is to turn aside or deviate, right? Turn away from, right? So the first thing you want to do is turn away from evil, right? So let's get Job 1:1. Job 1:1. Right? It says, "There was a man in the land of Uz whose name was Job, and that man was perfect and upright, and one that feared God and eschewed evil." Job turned away from evil. You see what I'm saying? This is why later on in Job, you see that Job feels like that he's in sin because of what's going on with him. But he's not in sin. He just feels like he is because feels like he's receiving a punishment, right? But right here, it just said that Job eschews evil. He turns away from evil. See? Let's go to chapter 2 and verse 3. It says, "And the Lord said unto Satan, Hast thou considered my servant Job, that there is none like him in the earth, a perfect and upright man, one that feareth God and escheweth evil? And still he hold fast his integrity, although thou movest me against him, to destroy him without cause." Right? So like I said, even the Most High is like, okay, I will let you put Job to the test, even though he eschews evil and he fears me. You see what I'm saying? I'll still let you put him to the test. You know what I mean? So remember, we know the story of Job, how all the things that he went through. Right? Let's get one more out of Job. Job 28 and verse 28 says, "And unto man he said, Behold, the fear of the Lord, that is wisdom, and to depart from evil is understanding." Right? So when you get that call from the Most High, you need to depart from evil. It's going to be easier for you to hear the Most High. If you keep yourself in the midst of chaos and turmoil, it's going to be hard for you to hear. You see what I'm saying? It's going to be hard for you to hear. Let's go to Psalms 34. What in the world? Okay. Psalms 34 and verse 14. Psalms 34 verse 14 says, "Depart from evil and do good. Seek peace and pursue it." One thing that I've told a lot of sisters is men seek peace, right? I've told a lot of sisters, I've told brothers this too, but men seek peace. And when they see peace, they're going to go for the peace. You know what I mean? Especially if they're a God-fearing brother. Same with the sister. The sisters should do the same thing. Seek peace, right? Let's go to Proverbs chapter 3. Proverbs chapter 3, verse 7. "Be not wise in thine own eyes. Fear the Lord and depart from evil." Right? This scriptures telling you multiple times to depart from evil. Right? Like I said, if you're in the midst of it, it's going to be hard for you to answer that call. You're going to step away to hear the call. You see what I'm saying? Like I said, just use the analogy of your cell phone. Think of it the same way. You know what I mean? If you're in the midst of nonsense, it's going to be hard to hear the call. right? Let's get Proverbs 16. Proverbs 16:6 says, by mercy and truth, iniquity is purged, and by the fear of the Lord, men depart from evil. You see that? It's very, very plain, right? Isaiah chapter 1. Isaiah chapter 1 and verse 16 and 17. It says, wash you, make you clean, put away the evil of your doings from before mine eyes. Cease to do evil. Learn to do well. Seek judgment. Relieve the oppressed. Judge the fatherless. Plead for the widow. Everything gives you an outline on how to deal with one another. It gives you an outline how to even deal with yourself. You know what I'm saying? It gives you an outline of how to even deal with yourself. Because there's a lot of things that can cause chaos, can cause noise just in your life. You know what I mean? Let's go to 1 Corinthians chapter 14 and verse 33. And I'm sure y'all know this. It says, for God is not the author of confusion, but of peace, as in all churches of the saints, right? Confusion is a way of noise. Confusion is a way of chaos. Confusion can cause anarchy, can cause rebellion, can cause disobedience. You see what I'm saying? Confusion can cause all of these things. And I told y'all, be mindful of the company you keep, right? Because it can cause confusion. These things can cause confusion. We were in Babylon, right? We call this daughter of Babylon, right? Babel just means confusion. You see? Just means confusion. Let's get James chapter 3. James chapter 3 and verse 16 says, for where envy and strife is, there is confusion in every evil work, right? So envy and strife, and then there's confusion, and then there becomes evil work, right? Even though all the scriptures that we just went through says to depart, to turn away from, to eschew evil. You see, some of us stay in the midst of evil because who the people may be, or who they are to you, or, you know what I mean, or the environments that you're around, or so on and so on and so on, right? Remember, this is a trickle effect. You see, one thing causes another and another and another and another. You see, so if you stay in the midst of that, you can bring yourself into confusion and fall into evil works, right? So like I said, and then when you do that, you won't hear that call, right? So we seen that with Gideon. We seen not necessarily evil works, but we seen fear. We seen that the Most High said that they will think it's them if you have a large number, so on and so forth, right? So Most High cut down what can be confused in their lives. You see, and like I said, Gideon started off with 32,000, end up with 300. So now let's go to this. Matthew chapter 22, verse 14. For many are called, but few are chosen. You see, so we can all be called. A lot of us in the truth, we've seen it. A lot of us have seen it. Brothers and sisters coming into the truth and then falling out the truth. Yeah, they was called, but that doesn't mean that they're chosen. Like I said, you could be a hireling. You could be called to bring someone else in. And then once you brought that other person in, once you called that other person to the Most High and they stick, and that's who the Most High wants, he can cut you off after that. Your job is done. Right? Let's go back. Let's go to John chapter 16. John chapter 16 and verse 33. Says, these things I have spoken unto you, that in me ye might have peace. In the world ye shall have tribulation, but be of good cheer. I have overcome the world. You see, so the Most High is, so Yahushua is showing you that you can overcome the tribulation. You could overcome the things in the world, so on and so forth. You know what I'm saying? The things in the world you can overcome. Yahushua gave us that example, right? Let's get Proverbs 25. Proverbs 25 and verse 28. Proverbs 25 verse 28 says, he that hath no rule over his own spirit is like a city that is broken down and without walls, right? Without walls means that anything and anyone can come in and ransack you, come spoil you. You see, if you can't rule your own spirit, like if you can't control yourself when you're around brothers and sisters, or when you're around a certain crowd, or when you know what I'm saying? If you can't help but to be in this certain crowd because you can't control yourself, you're walking into the midst. You're basically walking yourself into the midst of like the lion's den. You see what I'm saying? You don't want to walk into evil. You want to turn away from it, right? So that way you can hear your calling. Let's get Proverbs 16 and verse 4. The Lord hath made all things for himself, yea, even the wicked for the day of evil. The same thing which happened with Job, right? That particular spirit could not put Job to the test if the Most High never agreed. You see what I'm saying? So when people be like, oh, there's a rebellion in the kingdom and all, that angel couldn't do anything without the Most High's okay. You see what I'm saying? So the Most High made all things for himself, even the wicked for the day of evil. So understand, just like Yahushua said before, or just like Yahushua said to Ananias, Paul's going to have to go through tribulation for his name's sake. You see what I'm saying? He's going to have to. So who does it come from? It comes from him, right? Matthew 24. Matthew 24 and verse 6. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass. But the end is not yet. You see, so we see the way of the world right now. Do we fall in the midst of it? No. Do we join hands to hand with these people who are causing the damage, the destruction, you know what I'm saying, the turmoil and chaos in the world? No. You separate yourself. You turn and depart from wicked ways and evil, you know what I'm saying, so that way you can hear the Most High, right? And I'm going to show you this. This has been this way since the beginning, okay? This is the book of Genesis, chapter 1 and verse 2. It says, well, we'll start at 1. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters, right? I went here because I want to show you that the midst of chaos has always been here. So now when we go into the Hebrew and we look without form, formlessness, confusion, emptiness, wasteland, wilderness, place of chaos. You see that? Place of chaos. There was no order. You see? There was no order. So for you to back away from those types of things, the noise, the chaos, so on and so forth, and following the Most High, you are allowing the Most High to put you in order. This is the same thing he did from the beginning, right? Let's go back to 1 Peter 3. Go back to 1 Peter 3. Oops. And 11 again. right? It said, let him eschew evil, right? So we already know what to do right here. Do good, that's self-explanatory. Let him seek peace, right? Let him seek peace. So let's get the book of Psalms, chapter 120 and verse 6. It says, my soul hath longeth dwelt with him that hateth peace. See, a lot of times we dwell with people that hate peace. They like chaos. They like darkness. We are seeking peace, right? For Salaki, I am for peace, but when I speak, they are of war. You see, so this is why I said you have to depart from wicked, depart from evil. How are you going to hear the Most High call you if this is what you're among all the time and you don't turn from it? Right? Here's the book of Luke, chapter 1 and verse 79. Book of Luke, chapter 1, verse 79 says, to give light to them that sit in darkness and in the shadow of death, to guide our feet into the way of peace. Right? Who guides our way? Who guides our feet into peace? Yahawashi. Right? And the word is going to lead us in that way. And we're following Yahawashi into that way. You see, so that way we can be at peace. Right? Because now, when you're following the Most High and you're following the word and you heard this, you heard the truth from somebody and so on and so forth, now you were called and you answered that call, and now you're walking according to that calling, right? This is the book of Romans chapter 8 and verse 6. It says, for to be carnally minded is death, but to be spiritually minded is life and peace. Right? So what's spiritually minded? The law, right? Let's get another one. Romans chapter 12, verse 8. Or he that exhorteth on exhortation, he that giveth, let him do it with simplicity. He that ruleth with diligence, he that showeth mercy with cheerfulness. You see, these are all the things that we have to be doing, right? Like just like when we were talking about being in the spirit. These are all the things that we have to do. Remember, like I said, there's not just a few things to be in the spirit. There's multiple things that we have to do, right? Let's go to chapter 14. And we're almost done. I'm going to wrap this up soon because I think y'all get the point. Okay. Romans chapter 14, verse 17, it says, for the kingdom of God is not meat and drink, but righteousness and peace and joy of the Holy Ghost. For he that is these things serveth Christ is acceptable to God and approved of men. Let us therefore follow after the things which make for peace and things wherewith one may edify another. You see, so Peter is talking about eschewing evil and seeking peace, right? And we can only find peace in the Most High. That's where we're going to find our peace at. And like I said, this is the way you're going to be able to hear that call. It's the book of Colossians chapter 3 and verse 15. It said, and let the peace of God rule in your hearts, to the which also ye are called in one body, and be ye thankful. We're called in one body, right? Which is Yahawashi. And the peace of God rule in our hearts, which is going to be the law, which is going to bring us to the law, because the law is going to show us how to live and how to be obedient, right? It's going to show us. Okay. So let's get two more and then we'll wrap it up. This is 2 Peter chapter 1 and verse 10. It says, wherefore the rather, brethren, give diligence to make your calling and election sure. For if ye do these things, ye shall never fall. Right? Make your calling and election sure, meaning you know exactly what to do once you are called and you stick by it, right? And it's the last one. 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 20. It says, let every man abide in the same calling wherein he was called. What are we called to? We're called to the Most High. We're called to be obedient. We're called to follow Yahushua unto the Most High. You see what I'm saying? Yahushua is our door. Remember, we can't get through the door without Yahushua. And we can't get through the Father without Yahushua. You see what I'm saying? So we'll wrap it up there. Like I said, you know, I never like to make it a long class during the week. Make it simple. For those of y'all that was edified, just throw one in the chat for me real quick. And while y'all do that, like I said, Lord's will, I can finish putting that Are You in the Spirit class part 3 together for y'all. And, you know, be on the lookout for Elder Zahab's class tomorrow. I know me and him was talking about it earlier during the week. So it should be a really good class. Be on the lookout for Detroit's class on Friday and Priest's class on Saturday. So all praises to the Most High. Glad y'all was edified. The Water King, the Water, all praises. I know, sis, I seen you pop in. It's all good. You know it wasn't that long. Yep. So all praise. Yep. Keep on the lookout for those classes. Glad to see y'all in every class this throughout the weeks. All praise and glory and honor to the Most High. Lord's will, I will see y'all in the next classes. And Lord's will, I can finish putting that class for y'all together. So with that, I will say Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shai Barakatham, Washamaratham. It's your brother Michael Olive, LOI, Colorado, and I will say Shalom.
I'm telling Babylon. I'm telling Babylon. I'm telling Babylon. You let everybody get a turn. When the angels come, I'ma scream, let her burn. You let everybody get a ride. Did you really think God was gonna let it slide? You let everybody get a turn. When the angels come, I'ma scream, let her burn. You let everybody get a ride. Did you really think God was gonna let it slide? Her name is Babylon. I call her Babs for short. She has a lot of lovers. She lets them pass her port. She has a love affair with every foreign nation. She has a favorite wine. Its name is fornication. She has a purple robe. She has a pearly necklace. And if you worship Caesar, she'll give you worldly blessings. She's insatiable. She cannot hide her passion. Last week, somebody said she rides a dragon. I know it's crazy, but the question is why she had to put a crown upon its 7 heads. And it's even deeper. I had to peep the madness. She made war with the saints that tried to keep commandments. And since she killed the righteous and won't let me be, when she burns, it won't be from an STD. Bodies everywhere, both man and beast. And on that day, the birds are gonna have a feast. You let everybody get a turn. When the angels come, I'ma scream, let her burn. You let everybody get a ride. Did you really think God was gonna let it slide? You let everybody get a turn. When the angels come, I'ma scream, let her burn. You let everybody get a ride. Did you really think God was gonna let it slide? Show me the finest girl. Babs is just as pretty. Her name is Babylon. The girl is such a mystery. Yeah, she's been that way since we were little kids. She nicknamed me Mark.
parked like I was 666. She said, you want my number? I said, you high as hell. She said, you need my number or you can buy or sell. She said, take my number. I know that I can't make you, but I'm espoused to Christ and I'm staying faithful. Isaiah had a vision. He saw the elevation. Jesus preached the gospel. John had a revelation. Her lovers hated Babs, so they burned her up. What's upside down, the Lord could always turn it up. You let everybody get a turn. When the angels come, I'ma scream, let her burn. You let everybody get a ride. Did you really think God was gonna let it slide? You let everybody get a turn. When the angels come, I'ma scream, let her burn. You let everybody get a ride. Did you really think God was gonna let it slide? I'm telling Babylon. I'm telling Babylon. I'm telling Babylon.
I'm telling Babylon. I'm telling Babylon.